All right, everyone, welcome to episode number 25 with my guest, Matt Triplett. Matt, thank you for coming on, and how are you doing? Can you say that one more time? I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, you're good, buddy. Yeah, good, buddy. Appreciate you having me.
All right, so before we get too far into this podcast, why don't we give the listeners a little bit to know about yourself?
You bet. Yeah, I grew up in Columbia Falls, Montana, and my dad, he rode bulls, and so I just thought he was Superman. So I kind of wanted to do the same thing he did, and followed in his footsteps. He kind of showed me everything I know, and now I currently live in Canton, South Dakota. Married a girl from South Dakota, and yeah, just been living my dream ever since I started.
So, what's it like getting to go week in, week out on the toughest bulls in the world, and then also going to different events in different cities each weekend?
Oh yeah, man, it's a blast. You know, you get to see the whole country. Get to go out of the country. I've been to Australia, a lot in Canada, and the fan base. It's awesome. And not only that, you get a brotherhood with all the guys that you meet, and it's been a fun experience, and wouldn't really trade it for the world. And you know, the Bulls, we're getting on the best in the world, so our body takes a beating. So I guess the only thing that comes with it is you got to take a lot of ice baths.
So, what was it like in 2012 when you made your debut on the Premier Series in San Antonio?
Man, that was a dream come true. As my dad, he broke colts for a living, and so I was riding a horse, and I saw the PBR. They called me, and so I answered it, and I just jumped off that horse, and I was so excited. My dad was excited for me. It's probably the best day of my life, really.
And then shortly after that, you did place top 15, but you did good enough in Greensboro, North Carolina to get a little bit of the payout. Was it like knowing that you have a good enough weekend to get the payout for the first time?
Oh, I mean that's huge. I think I was only 20 or 19 there, getting that kind of money. You don't really know what to do with it, and it's just something you've worked your whole life for, and putting in the hard work and getting on the Rankist Bulls, and being able to take care of yourself and do what you love for a living. It's huge. It makes it to where life's enjoyable. It's where you can wake up every day and dedicate your whole day to becoming a better bull rider.
All right, so then also at that time, was it like putting your gear bag in the same locker room as guys like Luke Snyder and JB, Mooney, Marchi when they were in their prime? What was that like when it's kind of like the old school guys and also these new up and comers?
Man, it was huge. I watched them guys every night when it was on TV. I'd sit there and just, man, I can't wait to get in that room with them. And the cool thing about the whole thing, I put my gear bag in the locker room, and Luke Snyder was the first one to congratulate me, and he put his rope next to me. And dang, I thought that was the coolest thing in the world, because I always looked up to Luke Snyder. He's a really good bull rider, and man, I really didn't know what to say. I was kind of in awe when he did that. So I kind of always take the time when new kids come as well to always make sure to say something to them, because it made me feel comfortable and really good when he did that.
All right, so then a year later, after your debut in 2013, technically officially your rookie season, you only go to 8 Premier Series events, and you still make the finals in 2013. What do you think that says about your ability early on in your career, and then leading to now that you're able to qualify in such a short amount of time?
Oh yeah, that back then it was hard too. It was off money, so it was a big difference. But I mean, just to make it at this level it's huge. It makes a guy feel good, but to be able to stay at this level is the hardest part. I've been here for 10 years, and I've had a lot of injuries and a lot of setbacks, but I keep working hard and trying to get better each and every day to be able to stay at this level. I mean, we're getting on the best bulls in the world, and if you don't physically make yourself better with yoga or getting into the weight room, cardio, and just getting on practice bulls, then it's going to be hard to stay at this level for a long time.
So, what do you feel like is harder for you, like when you are trying to stay on and you're kind of in the mix to like at least make top 15, or when you're back far in the standings?
It's kind of all the same. You just gotta go there and ride your bull, and you kind of just gotta not think about what position you're in. If you're, not in the top 35, or if you are, you got to do it all the same way. You can't let that get in your head, because I think bull riding's 9% mentally. If you start thinking about that, then you're gonna not focus on the things you need to do when you're riding bulls. So I just try not to let that get in my mind, and just, I'm coming off an injury. So it's just something I got to keep taking the positive from each weekend and try not to let any of that negative stuff or thoughts get in my head.
So just curious, when do you think you perform better? When like everything's going good for you, or when people start to back yourself up into a corner and kind of like say like something's not going to go well for you this weekend? Do you do better when people are kind of positive towards you, or when they back in a corner?
I think, I just do better when, it's all on the line, but at the same sense, I don't think, all of us kind of just push each other to become better. We're never really going against each other. So I think, just as long as you do your part and ride your bulls, then just let all that other stuff really go through your head, then you're going to be good.
All right. So kind of one thing I've talked about in prior podcasts before is that one of the things that's so cool about this sport is that everybody wins if you ride. Like you as a rider will win, the bulls win, and the stock contractors win. Is that something that's cool about this sport, that everybody wins most of the time?
Yeah, it makes it nice because we're all making a living trying to live our dream, and it makes it kind of fun because if you don't do your job and you don't stay on, you don't get no money, or if your bull doesn't perform, then you don't get no money. So it's kind of like something that you want to pride yourself in, trying really hard and doing the best you can, because if you don't come home, then you don't have no money for your family, and you got to just can't pay the bills if you don't stay on.
All right, so back to the 2013 thing real quick. So in the first night of the finals, you have a crazy ride. You're putting in so much effort on a bull that wasn't really the best to get around. And even though it was only 80 and a quarter, you just put out that tremendous effort. Was it like putting in that much effort and just not letting go?
Oh, my dad, when I was starting out, he always said, don't quit till your head hits the ground. And I try to take that to heart. And I don't know, I think that kind of put the stamp on the map for me as being a bull rider, is putting out a lot of effort. And I don't know, I feel like anything you do in life, if it's taking the trash out or making the bed in the morning, if you put 100% into everything you do, it's going to, lead to the outcome in your performance and anything you do in life, whether it's your job or anything. So I think just doing everything 100% and trying hard is going to make that success just, show.
So one of the things I do remember about that ride also is when they're going over the replay, in the telecast, Ty Murray says that you made a fan out of him after that ride. What's that feeling like when a guy like that says that, and how does that boost your confidence?
I mean, he's got to be like the Tom Brady of the rodeo world or the bull riding world. And just to hear from a guy like that, it's kind of, you really don't have the words on how to say how good that makes you feel, and gives you the confidence like no other. A guy that you looked up to as a kid saying that about you, just it boosts your confidence out the roof. And bull riding is a lot to do with confidence. You don't want to be cocky and act like you're better than everybody else, because that's not the way to do it. But you dang sure got to be in your head cocky and act like you're better than everybody else, just not showing it outside. So I think, and that's what I love about our sport so much, is that, we're all there together, and we're there to just dominate the bulls, and that's really it.
So just kind of curious, in that year, that was the battle between JB and Silvano. And was it like, from Borak's perspective, after you're done getting to watch that race, and then also in 2019, watching the race between Jess and Jose, was it like getting to watch these heated world titles like that?
Oh, it just motivates you and shows you that you got to put a lot more work in to be in that race with them. It's fun to watch. It's always fun when it comes down to the last couple of rides, but you want to be in that position yourself. So I think it just goes to show that if you're not there, you got to put more work in the next year to be in that position.
All right, so in 2019, kind of speaking of that, was it like to go into a world finals where it's going to be the 6 rankest bulls in the world and 6 other rankest bulls you get on in an event? Was it like getting to place top 5 in an event like that?
Oh, it's huge. It makes you feel good. I mean, that's what we work for each and every day, to become, a champion at that level. And just to be able to take home a victory, it's the best bull riders in the world. It just showed that you put in the heart and dedication throughout the week to make that happen.
All right. So now I'm going to flash forward to 2014. You win technically your first event, but the 15-15 bucking bout in Huntington Beach, California. Was it like getting to take your first 15-15 win?
Oh, that's huge. I mean, the best bull riders the top 15 in the world and top bulls in the world. It was a fun event right before the World Finals. I mean, to win a 15-15 bucking battle or even the weekend event it's huge. I mean, it's a great feeling, and just keep climbing that ladder to be number one.
So just curious, how kind of a unique arena was that in Huntington Beach that year, where you're in a parking lot and then right by, not that far, is the beach of Huntington Beach. Like, how unique of an arena was that?
Right. Yeah, that was probably the coolest event we've ever done. The arena wasn't terribly too big, but I mean, it's just about the same size as every weekend, maybe a little smaller, but it was a fun atmosphere. People were walking along and they stopped, and yeah, the fan base was fun there, and I wish we did it every year.
So then, less than a couple months later, in Oklahoma City, you win your first Premier Series event through the weekend in Oklahoma City. Was it like winning in Oklahoma City, especially since that is some of the rankest bulls in the world that goes to a regular season event?
Oh yeah, that one's huge. I mean, that's the bull capital of the world. You got D&H right there, and they're the best bull breeders in the world, have the best bulls, and you know, there's multiple contractors around there that are very, very good and have heat. So to win an event in Oklahoma, it does a boost for your confidence, makes you feel good knowing that you can ride the rankest bulls in the world at that time.
So just curious, whenever you do go to an event in kind of the central zone of the country, where it is Oklahoma City, where you got D&H Cattle, Corey McCoy, Chad Berger also close by, was it like knowing that it's going to be some of the rankest bulls because it's so close by?
Oh, that's why we ride in the PBR. We want to get on the rankest bulls in the world. It's something that motivates us and pushes us to become better bull riders. So those are the events we thrive to go win and thrive to be successful at.
So then back to 2015, that was also a year where you were in the mix for a world title. Even though you got eliminated in round one that year, what's it like knowing that you were able to put your name in the mix for a world title?
Yeah, that's a good feeling and all, but I didn't get what I set out to accomplish done. And so it just kind of is almost slapped in the face saying that, you know, I got to work a little harder to get better, because you want to, by the end of the year, if you're not holding that trophy up, then shoot, none of it really matters.
So just kind of curious real quick, because I keep on always thinking of you as a young guy on tour, but in reality you're 29. Does it feel funny how time has flown so fast that kind of like,
oh God. It's crazy. It's gone by so fast. Now I'm the veteran in the locker room, and just felt like the other day I was a rookie. And so, yeah, I guess if I could tell anybody that the bull riding career goes by way too fast.
I mean, like, that's just something kind of funny, because I always remember that ride in the finals in 2013, and that's one of the things that made me a fan of you, seeing that effort. And then just think now you're 29, it just feels weird that time has flown that fast.
Yeah, no kidding, it does.
All right, so then, yeah, fast forward to this year, 2020. The year starts off well for the PBR as an organization. The year starts off pretty well for you, and then Little Rock hits, and then the weekend after that, Duluth, Georgia, no fans. How much does all that in such a fast time kind of hit you as a blur, as a competitor?
You know, that's what makes our sport so great, is our fans are awesome. They love the sport. They actually know the background behind the sport, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun to perform in front of them and have them kind of get the adrenaline level up a little bit when they cheer and stuff. So it's been kind of hard not having the fans, but at the same time, you still got to do your job regardless if they're there. Just I love it when they're there because it pumps me up, and that's why we ride bulls, to be the best in the world, and we love it. And the fans just make it that much more enjoyable for us.
So just kind of curious real quick, whenever the PBR is in an indoor arena and they have the pyro goes off, what's your reaction when that first crack of pyro goes off?
Oh, I just plug my ears so I don't have to hear it. If I'm not paying attention, I don't know it's going to go off. It makes you jump.
All right. So then back to last year, after Duluth, the break hits, and then Guthrie, no fans for three weeks. How impressive is it to be a part of an organization that cares so much about its staff and its athletes so much that they got everybody back in such a short amount of time compared to every other sport?
It's awesome. And, that's what the PBR thrive for, is be cowboy. And hey, to be cowboy, you got to show the world that we ain't scared of nothing. And that, we took the right precautions and the responsibilities to still be able to put food on the table for us workers and the people that work behind the scenes in the PBR as well. And so it was a great deal to just keep us all going to be able to work when a lot of people just didn't have a job and were out. So I was really thankful that they did that for us.
So just kind of curious, what is it like to you being a part of sports history, really being a part of a sport that was the first sport to return from this pandemic?
Oh, that's awesome. We should have got more advertisement for it. I mean, we were going when no one else was, and we're still performing and doing our job. And so I just feel like, yeah, it's a great organization that tries to take care of us the best they can. And yeah, it's great.
So is that also something that's kind of cool, that the PBR has helped big organizations like the NBA to come back?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, you got to think any sport that's going to be going, they're going to be maybe taking some sponsorship money. So no one's going to like that. So I think it kind of just lit a fire under everybody's butt to get going.
All right. So still with last year, Salt Lake City hits, and then you have that hip and groin injury. How unfortunate was it that knowing that you're so close to cracking the top 10 last year to then having that injury happen and end your season?
Yeah, that was unfortunate. I rode a little black ball and placed fourth in the round, and things were just really feeling good and going uphill from there. And I was riding pretty much everything, and then this happens. And the hips, it's been something that I've been working hard to get back to 100%, and just getting back into timing is what it's going to take. And then hopefully I can take off and get back into the race and top 10 this year, or whatever I got to do to just get back into the scene and things.
All right, so just kind of curious, even though you want to try to get your name in the mix for a world title, after Salt Lake City, after Jose rides chiseled that weekend, do you think there's really any stopping Jose last year?
Oh, I mean, last year he was riding everything. I mean, hey, the only way to stop somebody is do the same thing, and no one else was doing that. So no, yeah, last year he was on fire and he looked the best, and that's what it takes to win a world title. And it was awesome to watch still.
So how much does a guy like Jose, just absolute freak in nature, hype you up to want to be just as great as Jose is?
Oh yeah, that fires everybody up. It makes you know that you have to put a lot of work in, because he does it each and every day. And so you got to try to put as much work as he is doing to just get that world title. Because if you ain't working, he's going to be outworking you, and then he's going to beat you just like he did beat all of us last year.
So speaking of Jose, one thing he did after he lost in 2019, he went up to the top of the bucket chutes and shook Lockwood's hand and said, "Congratulations, you deserve this." That humble aspect of everybody in the sport, is that one of the things that also makes this sport so great, is that everybody is humble?
Oh yeah, that makes it really fun. I mean, at the end of the day, you're not going against the guys, you're going against the bull. And if you don't do your job, then you ain't getting no score, and that's your fault. So that's why I love this sport so much, because it's only, it's all on you. If you don't perform or do what you want, it is your fault, no one else's. You can't put the blame game on nobody.
So back with the injury that you had in Salt Lake City, so how much of a mental game is the sport of bull riding, knowing that you can go from being so good and then be at such a low in such a short amount of time?
Well, that's why all of us crazy bull riders ride bulls. It's adrenaline rush, and it's exciting. It's fun. It's something that can potentially take your life away. So I mean, it's a sport you have to be all in, and if you're not, then you shouldn't do it. It's just very dangerous, and you got to put a lot of work to become better. And you can't really let that play in the back of your mind, because you are going to get hurt riding bulls. That just comes with the sport.
So just kind of curious, guys like JB have said many times before that the adrenaline feels like a drug. Like once you ride a bull, you don't want to quit.